Wow, what a fight, man! What a boxing card. The card today was just amazing. The David Benavidez fight, the Figueroa and Fulton fight, Pitbull Cruz. That fight was amazing. Ramos, the first fight after the preliminaries was amazing. Boxing is back. I mean, it's been back, but it kind of took his it's it kind of plateaued for a second because I think the politics became such a huge influence in how the sport was ran, and people weren't really getting to see the best fight the best. And I gave my commentary about the fight with David Benavidez and David Morrell, and this fight just shows you how good of a boxer David Benavidez is. People are gonna say that David Morrell wasn't that experienced, and if you heard my take, I was under the impression that Morrell was gonna win the fight because I saw he had more of a skill set to win, meaning his athleticism, his footwork, his ability to move, him being the harder puncher, and him being one of him being a bigger guy in terms of not bigger than David Benavidez, but bigger in terms of who David Benavidez has fought. Usually, he's been much bigger than his opponents. You can call him sort of a weight bully in a sense. So for the first time, David Benavidez was fighting an opponent that would match him size for size, and who was possibly bigger in terms of muscular strength and girth. It was a good fight. And maybe it is experience. I know people talked about how when Canelo fought Mayweather and Canelo was real young, and people we didn't get to see the best Canelo because he didn't have as much experience as he needed to have in order to fight Mayweather and make that fight competitive. Because if you remember that fight, he dominated Canelo from round one to the last round. I mean, the whole fight was dominated by Mayweather. But even if Canelo was experienced, I still think he would have lost to Mayweather anyway. But I don't think we saw the best Morrell. You can say that in a sense that the experience factor, we didn't see the best because I've never watched a fight where a single boxer dominates. In this case, David Benavidez, he dominates the fight, but it's not like he dominated it in the way that you would view or perceive dominance to be. Like each round that he won were close rounds. Now there were some rounds that David Benavidez clearly won, but there was other rounds. It's like it was a competitive round only if David Morrell would do this some more or do that more. It's not worthy of a trilogy to me. I thought it would be because I thought the fight would be more competitive than what I saw today. No one's gonna say David Morrell got robbed. No one's gonna say that because he didn't. He clearly lost the fight, and David Benavidez is good, man. I know. I know. The more people like me doubt him. Not that I doubted him. I've never doubted him. This was probably the first time that I thought that he might lose because he just never faced a guy like David Morrell. And if you think about it, most of the fighters that David Benavidez does fight, they don't last 12 rounds with him. He beats them to a pulp. Even Plant, even though Plant lasted, Plant was a shell of himself. He was bloodied up. David Morrell, he stuck in there. He went 12 rounds with him. He got some good shots in too. It wasn't a bad fight in the sense that it was boring where it was just strictly one sided. It was competitive. It had its moments, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was a great fight, but I tip my hat to David Benavidez. He's a good fighter, and then you hear people saying that he may not be able to whatever he did to David Morrell, he wouldn't be able to do that to the winner out of Beterbiev and Bivol. And oh, after this fight, Canelo has more confidence. Look, styles make fights, number one, and every fight is different. You can't look at a fighter's past fight and use their past performance as an indicator of what's going to happen in their upcoming fight. Like for instance, people thought Figueroa was going to walk through Fulton, but he didn't. Why did they think that? Because number one, Fulton had lost to Inoue, Inoue Inoue, got knocked out, got KO'd, and then he fought Castro. When he fought Castro, he got knocked down versus Castro, but he still won the fight. It was a split decision. And then he's coming off of those two performances, fighting Figueroa, a person that he won. I think it was split. I don't know if it was unanimous the first time he fought Figueroa or if it was split. But the point that I'm making is that Figueroa had this coming forward style of boxing where he's consistently throwing punches and he's not a tactician. He's going to put you in a position where you have to fight him off of you. Now, people were thinking, Cool Boy is sort of chinny. He doesn't have a chin, or he may be broken because of Inoue and Castro. But that wasn't the case. He was actually much sharper than he's ever been, and he completely dismantled Figueroa. I mean, Figueroa just tried to smother him, but he beat Figueroa at Figueroa's game. So you can't use a current fight or a fighter's past performance as an indicator of what they're going to do, because you have to factor in what the strengths are of Benavidez. People say, oh, he won't be able to come forward against Beterbiev. He won't be able to. You don't know what he'll be able to do because he's a volume. Benavidez is a volume puncher, and some fighters don't want to keep taking those hits. So eventually, he will have you on your back foot. I think that's one of the greatest advantages for David Benavidez. He's a boxer that's going to box you, and you're going to have to crack him, man. And then his arms, it's weird because most of the punches that David Morrell was throwing and I thought were landing, they weren't really landing because it was just hitting the arms or the elbows of Benavidez or hitting his gloves. Now, this is the first time that I've seen Benavidez's face look like that. You can tell this is one of his most competitive fights. But after the fight, he was asked, the boxing reporter asked him, how does he feel about David Morrell's power? And David Benavidez was like, no, I didn't think he hit as hard as I thought, So, I mean, Benavidez is a Mexican boxer. He has a chin. You're going to have to destroy him to knock him out or to make him quit. And even that knockdown was not a knockdown. He basically caught Benavidez off balance. His legs were just out of whack. And the momentum of Benavidez was already moving in that direction. And so David Morrell caught him with a hit and kind of just tipped him over. And you saw how fast David Benavidez got up. He wasn't fazed by that punch at all. But it was a good fight. Again, I thought Morrell would win. Or if he didn't win, I thought the fight would be more competitive than it was, but it wasn't. There are levels to this. I do think that this fight is not the best of Morrell. Because you gotta put things in perspective. I mean, how was David Benavidez in his first 11 fights? Or how was David Benavidez on his 12th fight? This being David Morrell's 12th fight. So, I mean, experience does factor in, but not much. Seeing them fight now and seeing how Morrell handled the physicality of Benavidez, I think that even if Morrell had more experience, it would have probably been more competitive, but I still feel Morrell would have lost because that's how just good Benavidez is. He did not look, and I say he, I'm referring to Benavidez, he did not look anyway close to how he looked in his last fight. And that goes to show you that he was not healthy. The torn ligament in his wrist. He said he almost called off the fight, but he fought anyway. Just let you know his greatness, and he still beat that guy. So this is amazing. This is great. This is great. So yeah, good fight. Leave a comment to me what you guys think. Again, the fight card. I mean, boxing fans, we all won today. From the first fight on the card to the last fight on the card to the main event, Great event. My weekend was fulfilled. My weekend was made great by that, by that boxing card. And the fight did not disappoint at all. I really enjoyed it. And man, that guy David Benavidez is a monster. And I'm not saying it because that's what they call him, but he just is. Because he literally dismantled. You got to understand, David Morrell is a good boxer, guys. Good footwork, physicality. He took him apart. He took him apart, eviscerated him. So there's levels to this, and Benavidez again just showed us what level he's on. So we'll see. We'll see what happens after the winner out of the Beterbiev and Bivol 2, and we'll see. But I don't want you guys to look at this fight of David Benavidez and use it as an indicator of how he would be against Beterbiev or Bivol. You can't do that. Every fight is different, and the styles make the fights. All right, peace out, guys. Leave a comment, tell me what you guys think, and till next time, peace. And remember, your health is your wealth. Peace. Love you guys.